Hello everybody, this is Lucas at Frugal Landlord. This video is supposed to be on a before and after, like a particle count test before with the oil at 12,000 miles without the toilet paper filter. And then I was gonna run it for 1,000 miles or so and then do another particle count test. But I had a problem and I blew off the oil line and I lost all the oil. Luckily I shut the truck down before I lost all the oil pressure, so no problem there, but I have no oil to test. Anyway, so if I refer to the tests, I do have the before test, but I don't have the after test. This is just gonna be basically an installation video of the oil filter on this truck. I think I found out it's a 1998. I thought it was a 99, but I actually think it's a 98. It's a two-wheel drive, a 3/4 ton, and it's not a Silverado. It's a work truck, so it's a C2500 is what it is. After I blew off that oil line, I started to wonder, what did I do wrong? Did I not tighten it down good enough? I wasn't sure. I thought I had tightened it down. What I did was I blamed I blame myself, but I also blamed the oil line. I just used fuel line. So I went ahead and changed that. I ordered a real high temperature, high pressure. I still think it's fuel line, but it's high temperature. I don't know, maybe it's not. It's like a silicone type hose instead of rubber. And it handles the heat. Anyway, but what I think happens is when they get hot, they get soft, and that allows it to pull off. I'll just show you what I've done here. So now I'll go through with the video. I'll show you the hose. All right, so see the blue line here? The blue line is that's the new one, and it's the same hose that I used on my Geo Metro oil line. I'm not gonna lie, I did leave the fuel line on the return, or the return, because there's absolutely no pressure on that. It just kind of dribbles out the end. So I don't really think that's too big of a deal. So, and this blue line is actually pretty expensive. It's a 400 PSI and it just says high temp. That's all is different. This is the one that came off of there, and it's only got 10 miles on it, and as you can see, it's almost like it, I don't know, kind of expanded there, or, because I had to retighten it down after it blew off. Just blew off from underneath the truck where it was attached next to the oil filter. Go ahead and start with the blue line. I ordered this from the Frantz website because that's where the original filter came from. And I knew this was good line, so I just ordered it from the same place. They sell it in 8-foot sections, but if you order 2 or more sections, they keep it as 1. So if you order two 8-foot sections, they'll give you 16 feet in one length of 16 feet. So that's what happened anyway. That's what happened with me. I put nearly 8,000 miles on the Metro with the Frantz filter on it, and it's the oil line is perfectly good. Parker Push Lock Plus, high temp, 400 PSI. That's about all it says on there. I don't know if that's the part number or whatever. So if I ever refer to the particle test after the install, I didn't get a chance to do that. But I do want to still do that test. I'll do it on the Honda Civic when I install the filter on that one. So look out for that one, because I was kind of excited. I'm totally upset that happened and I wasn't able to get the test. So here's the particle count with the oil at 12,000 miles, and I would be really interested to see if the filter can take away any of the 4 or 6 micron particles. Finally getting around to installing this Fram toilet paper filter on my truck. We're going to do something a little bit fun with this video. I'm going to send off a particle count to Blackstone Labs. I'm not going to change the oil. The oil in my truck is got about 12,000 miles on it. I just kind of wanted to put the filter on, but do a particle count first, and then maybe 1,000 miles later redo the particle count. But let's get the oil sample first. I'm going to mark the length of the dipstick, and that's how far I'm going to shove it down the dipstick hole. Boy, it's a long dipstick. This is a 2-ounce syringe, so I got the full syringe. Oh, you can see how black that oil is. It's got a lot of miles on it. So this is a 99 Chevy 2500. It's got the 350 Chevy 5.7. It has some space under here, enough to mount, I think, underneath this anti-lock brake setup electronic box. I think there's enough space to mount the Frantz filter. It's not going to be as easy as the Geo Metro, by the way, which had tons of room. So we got the bracket, and then the filter, which will go onto the bracket, and then whatever fittings we'll need. This fitting here, I've already sized it out, and there's an oil gallery on this truck next to the oil filter that has this, I believe it's a 3/8 pipe thread, and then we're going to be using a 1/4 inch fuel line. And then this one, I don't know if we'll need elbows or whatnot, but these ones are they are 1/8 inch pipe thread, and they go in there. This is the old Sky era Frantz filter, so it's not a new one. I did get the new clamp though. I think it was 29 bucks for that, but I just didn't like the old. It didn't feel like the other clamp, the flip over clamp, got very tight. So I think that this will mount kind of in there, hopefully, about like that. You can mount it any way. You can mount it in any orientation you want, even upside down. But the ideal way to mount it is this way, so that it can drain, the oil can drain back out of it for like filter changes and whatnot. I would like to put the oil return, just drill a hole in there, open the cap, and see the flow. If I put it high enough in there, you could still see the flow. One thing I wanted to do with this filter is move the restriction orifice from the outlet to the inlet. And I ordered the restriction orifices. And this is from toiletpaperoilfilters.com. This is what I got for the restriction orifice. And this is not 1/8 inch thread. This is M12 threads on that side. Now, somebody who might know something about this, can you explain to me what that would screw into? I don't think it's a Frantz filter, because everything I've seen is 1/8 thread, and I can't get an adapter or anything for that. So it's I ordered 3 of them, and I called and left a message and never got any. I told him my problem, and never got a response. So that was unfortunate. But I did find a different place to order them. Wix Aircraft and Motorsports. And the only thing is, the orifice, well, this orifice looks too big. It's much bigger than the standard orifice. But then the ones I got from Wix is slightly smaller. I think it's supposed to be a 16th inch, but that can easily be drilled out. I might just leave it like that and see how it goes. Put that on the inside, and then you just screw your pipe, your barb fitting on that. So anyway, let's get started on this. What I'm gonna do right now is take off the valve cover so that I can tap into that without getting any kind of plastic or anything inside the engine. Okay, so I finally got the valve cover off. Occasionally when you're doing things, you get a little bit more than what you bargained for. It was a little hard, it was quite a bit harder to take that valve cover off than what I thought it was going to be. Okay, so in order to get the valve cover off, I had to loosen up this bracket here that holds the power steering pump and the air conditioner compressor. So there's just 3 bolts on the top and 3 nuts on the bottom, and I didn't even take the nuts out of the bottom, I just loosened them up quite a bit. The reason all this oil splatter is because I had to kind of blow these leaves. I got some leaves in there, and I tried to vacuum it, but I couldn't, and I just kind of blew it out with the air compressor. But anyway, that's what a 350 Chevy with 10 to 12,000 mile oil changes with it'll be Super Tech synthetic oil. It's not pristine in there, but it's definitely not sludged up. I'm actually pretty happy with that. I actually could have just unscrewed that, but I really wanted to see under the valve cover anyway. I went ahead and did a little bit of extra work and to get the valve cover off. And then, there, I can get a closer view of it. That's under the valve cover. Okay. And then I'm gonna clean this gasket off. It's totally reusable. And that's the inside of the valve cover. I don't think that's too bad. I didn't clean that at all. That's just straight off the engine. Okay, I want to drill and tap a little hole there for my oil return. So all the mechanics on YouTube showing totally gummed up valves, or the hole underneath the valve cover is totally sludged. I'm not sure if they're using conventional oil or what, or if their engine is just like that. But since I've owned this car, I haven't changed the oil any sooner than 10,000 miles. And it doesn't use any oil either. I mean, just very little. It might go through a quart of oil in that time, maybe less, probably less. So, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and drill the hole below where, obviously I want that to still screw on, so right in there. plastic, but it's a lot harder than I would have expected. Okay, I'm gonna drill a pilot hole. Drill bit is pretty terrible. It's pretty good plastic. Go one size below. I'll go one size below that. This wasn't supposed to be a comedy show. If it was, it's not very funny. There we go. Dang. At least it's pretty good plastic. It might hold a thread. Trying to tap it out now. There we go. Alright, it absolutely held a pretty good thread. I want to go clean this off with soap and water. And then we'll put the valve cover back on. Alright, that's going to be our oil return right there. We'll be able to open up our oil cap and see if we're flowing. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and put back on the valve cover. Valve cover bolts on. Then I'll tighten up all the brackets. Alright, so I dropped the socket down underneath the auxiliary battery, which is on top of the windshield washer pump, or not pump, but tank. And I've always thought that this tank had a hole in it because it never held any water or any fluid. But it turns out it's not the tank at all. It's the little motor, and it sat just like that. And where it hooks into the tank, obviously it just spilled out there because there's no housing on that motor. So I'm gonna take a pause break on this project until I get one of these, because it makes no sense. This was actually a very there's my socket that I dropped. This was actually a fairly involved process to get this tank out, because there was two long bolts underneath the grill that went into this indentation in the tank, So you couldn't remove the tank unless you loosened those bolts up, because it was, you know, it just wouldn't let you. I had to remove the grill off the truck, and I don't want to put all that stuff back on and take it back off. And it makes no sense to put this tank back on without getting the parts to do it right. So it even has a date on it, 6/10 of 99. I believe this is a 99 truck or a 2000. I think it's a 99 truck though, so maybe it was battery acid that leaked down in there and destroyed that little pump. I don't know. But I believe the tank is perfectly fine. Actually, I might as well go ahead and finish up the install on this. So I went ahead and marked the holes, and I'm gonna pre-drill pilot hole this time. Now I got these body bolts, and I'm gonna go ahead and just put them in first and get the hole right. I'm mounting the plate this way so I have it lower. It's the same as if I mounted it that way, but I got an extra bolt going this way. Okay. Doing it with a ratchet, that way I don't accidentally strip out my sheet mount here. There we go. Okay, I'm getting the filter ready to put on, and I kind of just had this idea about the center hole, and because this is an old one and doesn't have the ring to cut in, it just has a flat gasket. And I'm also going to drill out this hole. The size of it is, I think 5/16, no, 5/32 is the size of the hole, and I'm going to drill it out. I tried taking this screen out, James. I tried taking that screen out, and I was able to get this piece off, but it was still stuck under this ring here, so I don't really know how to get that screen out. So I'm just going to try to do it very gently. Anyway, when I was at a younger age, if something didn't fit right, I would wrap it in electrical tape. So this is just going to be an experiment. It might work and it might not. So bear with me on this. that's one full wrap. Gonna need quite a few wraps. Somebody mentioned the empty cardboard from this makes a perfect seal also. I'm pretty sure that was Ralph Wood that said that. If this doesn't work, it's easily removed and no harm done. That's actually pretty tight on there, so might have went one too many. If I can get that on there. Yeah, see, it's a little too big on the bottom. That's actually pretty tight on there. So tight that it's pulling that off when I pull it off, so I think that'll center it and maybe seal it even a little bit, so we'll see how long that lasts. Like I say, I don't think it can hurt anything. Now I'm gonna go ahead and drill this out very ever so carefully. I think I got it without hurting the screen even. I'm gonna go wash it off. And I got my restrictor orifice. I'm putting in the inlet. I think I may be the only one that thinks it matters at all where the restrictor orifice is, but both the Frantz like this that's still being manufactured and Ed's new and improved Frantz filter both have the restrictor orifice on the inlet. Now this old Sky filters, they had them on the outlet, so I think they had a reason for changing them. So there's going to be less pressure on this filter with the restriction orifice on the incoming, because the oil can flow out faster than it can flow in. So there's going to be less pressure on the top of this filter. I think that's pretty obvious. So I've got these tightened up. I'm just going to go ahead and put the lines on. I got to go get the hose clamps. So I got 10 feet of hose, which I know is more than enough. So I'm just going to hook two sides to this and then cut it later. But they'll be connected on this end. So we're actually almost done. I put the filter down there. I don't have the roll in there or anything. I just finger tightened the bolts there. And this is the return line, oil return. Okay, that's tight. And now I have all this line that can make it down there to my oil feed. On this particular engine, 350 engine, 350 Chevy engine, it takes a 5/16 square. I had to specially buy this tool, but if you had a piece of 5/16 square tubing, you could stick that in there and use a crescent wrench. It was pretty tight. That it's a plug. There you go. You can see that plug right above the oil filter. I'm gonna take that out, and I'm gonna screw this. I believe it's 3/8 thread, pipe thread. Oil's coming out. pretty tight now. See, definitely don't want it to go next to the exhaust like that, so I'm going to zip tie it away from it. Zip tie it up there somehow. Okay, I'm just going to tighten these up if I can. I already got a roll. I think I'll just use it. It's another Walmart roll, and I got it fitted in there pretty good. I'll go ahead and put it on there like that though. Let's see. Oh, I know what I did. I put one of those. I was trying that out. Okay. You know what? Walmart's smaller than Scott. I'll just refit it. I'll try a Scott. So apparently Scott 1000 and Walmart's 1000 roll are different. Okay, I took a wrap off of the electrical tape because the Scott wasn't consistent. Oops. And I couldn't get two rolls to fit the same. And I seem to like the Walmart toilet paper better. It comes apart in squares easier, and it seems to be denser. So I took a roll off and I got it to fit pretty nice and tightly. So if Ralph Wood would, yeah, that's more like it. Ralph would folded his paper like that, and I'm not sure if that is to reduce channeling or what, but hopefully Ralph can answer that. So anyway, that's a pretty tight fit. And it's also a nice fit inside the, oops, forgot the bail. I put the bail down in there. And then put the cap on. Go. And then go ahead and put the clamp on. Tighten it down. We're going to get particle counts before and after on this 12,000 mile oil. Okay, we're going to see if it'll start without the battery. Without the second battery. Okay, it's not flowing yet. after a couple hundred miles. I think I'm gonna go like 1,000, and then I'm gonna retest the